might lie a little bit. This doesn't even take AA, and actually only takes 14500 instead, which is the same size as a AA. I'm guessing it can't provide enough power for the triple LEDs. A few things about this light. It's the first AA size Enduro light, and it gets the version 2.0. My first Enduro 2 actually. I will touch up a bit on this later on. Smallest Enduro light, the brightest AA size light. In fact, the smallest AA size that I know of. Just like its bigger brother, the original FW3A or the 3C here was small for 18650 or 18350 light. Maybe something to do with the combination of the E switch and the no reflector that takes up less space. Even against some clicky AAAs and barely longer than the AA Twisty. It's crazy efficient, I would say. Design wise, personally I still think Tool AA is prettier, and honestly I prefer the fuller size too. I used to love tiny lights, but now I'm starting to like a more fuller, chunkier light. But there's just something about the clean, minimalist design of the FWAA, especially with the copper head. Speaking of copper head, I think this is the best version of this light. The smaller body means less heat dissipation, especially with the triple LEDs. Crazy output to size ratio. This is a smart design by putting the copper where it counts the most. Plus the titanium tail is super gritty. It's much better and smoother from the copper part. Same thing with this Tool AA, which use a brass head, so I open it from the brass. Much smoother than the tail. This is not the first copperhead design. There were many before it. In fact, this is not my first copperhead, which brings me to my next point. My first impression and nitpick. I'm a little bit disappointed with the thin metal used here compared to this beefy head. You can definitely feel the top heavy on this one, not so much on the FWA. That's the other problem. Oh my gosh. Okay. Show you live. I prefer the cleaner look of the older model. They put too much writing on this one, including the FW3A. The font used for the FWAA is a bit too big in my opinion. Not so much an issue on the copper model, since it will patina and darken and you can barely see the... See if I can show it to you. Cannot even find it now. Okay, maybe a little bit here. Yeah, you got my point. I consider this as an enthusiast light versus this Tool AA as a more consumer light. which we can tell by the huge difference in the UI complexity. And being Enthusiast light is a bit finicky. I had a few glitches. You saw one earlier, but I think I know what caused them. I suspect something to do with the tail not tightened properly. I heard lots of similar issue from the original FWAA. I just got lucky on mine, I guess. Or maybe because this being a titanium. The light just ramped up by itself when turned on, and then just crashed off. Happened twice before. Both happened after I unscrewed the tail. So since then I always unscrew from the head only. For the pocket clip, I kinda like the looks on this dual clip design. I think it looks better than the rounded one. But this part sticks more, which means more likely to catch on things. I had this longer than the FWAA, but it catches on things first. As you can see, I did try to fix it, but still not perfect. And it's not deep carry. Neil's Gadget actually released 2 deep carry versions. So for Enduril 2, what's nice is the memory mode on unlock, which means one less tap. When you unlock, means you want to use the light. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's on the memory mode. There we go again. I swear to you, this doesn't really happen a lot before. Maybe because I play with the tail when I try to show you how great it was. Okay, time out. Okay, we're back again. Memory mode on unlock. Okay, on the last memory mode, so which means one last step. But that also means you're stuck on the last mode when unlocking the light. You have to remember to set the lower or the desired mode before locking. In my case, I use Firefly most of the time, so it's quite fine. I did several mods on this. Since Turbo Glow gasket is not readily available like the W3 series, I just use some glow tape. And also a little bit on the tail groove here. I preferred the more tapered body on the bigger FW3 series. Something to do with the ratio and the angle looks a bit off with this one. It's kinda hard to explain and show. So I reversed the tube just to be different and to give it a more custom look. Actually, I've been wanting to get the polished FW3T. I really like it in the short tube, but I got this instead because it's the only one that still have the short tube available. Here's how it compared to the 18350, and slightly shorter with compared to the 18500. I believe this is Nichia 219C, not the 219B, but it's already super pretty and rosy enough for me compared to the XPL 5000K and XPL, and this is the Turbo Glow comparison. Turbo glow versus the glow tip. No contest. I believe Lumin Top is the official web, but it's not updated most of the time. So I got this from Lumin Top Lighting instead, and I recommend it. Victor is a great help, and he's quite active in social media and forums, and usually posts new stuff, even prototypes. I used to joke that he should be the R&D department for Lumin Top. There are other places you can get it from. Lumin Top Online is another vendor, but also not up to date sometimes. And of course there are other vendors as well, like Neil's Gadget and etc. My point is, regardless where you get it, Lumin Top is a great brand. And judging from the pile of empty boxes, it's definitely my top 3 brand. Okay, we literally just drove around trying to find dark spots.
But we couldn't find some.
Yeah, I'm sorry folks. It seems that this time there won't be any outside beam shots. The bridge that we usually go to is too bright now.
Yeah, not dark.
Not dark. Instead, I'll try to show you beam patterns and tint comparison indoors. Here's what the beam pattern from the default triple TIR optics looks like. First is the regular deep reflector from the tool AA, which with really obvious dark spots, which throws further. But the max output of the FWAA kind of makes up for it in terms of throw. And here's the tint comparison Nichia 219C 4000K, XPL high 5000K, and XPL high 6500K. I might switch these two. And I really love the rosiness of the 219C. Still can't believe I don't have 219B yet, which is definitely what I would choose for my next light. I saw a post recently of the FWAA, which should look really nice without the clip, so I thought I'd give it a try. I kinda like it, looks and feel better, but the polished titanium is really slippery. Wish they come out with a similar tactical ring like this one. Oh, and another thing, since it's using the inner tube to make contacts, it has to be really tightened for the light to work. So they had to leave a gap for the clip, which will be perfect again if there's a tactical ring or at least a washer. I adjust the tube in the middle so the gap is divided evenly between these two. Okay, time for a verdict. I will say it's one of those if I can only have one flashlight thing. Now I might not choose this one, since there are so many that I like, but what I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't really mind if I end up choosing this one. So I guess that should give you an idea of what I think of it. That's a wrap for now. I'm way behind the video, so I'll try to catch up. Please subscribe if you like to see more contents.
Bye.
Thanks folks, till next time.